Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on this video. My name is Chris. Let's dive into the movie news we got to discuss here today. We got a lot going on in the movie atmosphere. Some of the stuff we're going to be touching upon here today is details on this new Predator 5 reboot that is currently under the works with Disney. We even have an update on the rebooted Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Oh, feels like I say reboot every time I'm making a damn side flick. And I guess since I'm on the train of reboots, one more, a reboot of a cult classic horror movie, Slumber Party Massacre. So I'm going to need you reboots to leave a reboot down below while hitting that reboot button, but don't forget to reboot, cause reboot. Sorry, got a little carried away speaking Hollywoodnese. Back to regular talk. Before getting into some of the news stories, let's dive into some of the trailers that have recently been released the past couple of days, because we do have quite a few, ranking them on our famous scale here of trailer trash, because one man's trash is another man's treasure. Starting off with the trailer we literally just got yesterday, the new Fast and Furious trailer that was a hefty long 3 minutes. Look, I am a mega fan of the Fast and Furious franchise. I've always liked it. I understand they're not for everybody, and there's people out there who hate the Fast and Furious franchise, but I love the ridiculous factor. I love what it's become and how it's just managed to keep going, and we still have 2 more movies left before they end this franchise. With this latest trailer, it just continues to up the ante. Every movie, I don't know how they could be more entertaining and ridiculous, but with this trailer showing how they're using the magnets, the interactions between Dom and John Cena, even paying a little bit of respect in there for my boy Paul Walker, I'm gonna give the trailer a treasure for me because it did what it needed to. It hyped me up to see this movie. Then we have the trailer for Army of the Dead. This is Zack Snyder's new big budget movie for Netflix. I did my own separate video where I broke down everything about this film and why I'm kind of excited for it. And with this trailer, yeah, definitely a treasure. Main reason because this is a zombie movie, and I think zombie movies have been played out to death, to the fact that this trailer made me interested in another zombie movie because of how fresh and different it seems. It for sure did its job, so that's a treasure for me. And then we have the Ryan Reynolds, Samuel Jackson trailer for the Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. Crazy little title right there, and yeah, it looks like it could be fun. The first movie got mixed reviews, but I think it was better than some people expected. This could go the same way, and they could come out with a third one, the Hitman's Bodyguard's dog's cousin's wife, house sitter, bodyguard. But like I was saying, the job of a trailer is to hype you up, and I really didn't see myself wanting to see that movie right there and then. So for now, I'm gonna have to give the Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard trash. Let me know which ones were treasure or trash for you on that list of trailers. The next thing going on in the movie sphere is we had them announce that they're going to be making a live action interpretation of the famous IP Gundam. Deadline here has it reported that Jordan Vogt-Roberts is going to direct the live action Gundam movie for Netflix, which I think Gundam is a super mega property that never made it big in America. Because I think there's a lot of people right now who are unfamiliar with this character and are looking at it for the first time like, what is this? But it is so popular in other places that they have even built actual working Gundam suit, full scale. When I say full working, I don't mean this thing can really run around, shoot, and fly, but still, they built this damn thing and it can at least move its legs. That's how much other places love Gundam. If you're not too familiar with the franchise though, it does go as an era in which humanity's growing population has led people to immigrate to space colonies. Eventually, the people living in the colonies seek their autonomy and launch a war of independence against the people living on Earth. The battles in the story are fought by the characters piloting robots known as mobile suits. The only interesting thing to me is that this is going to be on Netflix, and I would think something like this deserves the big screen adaptation in theaters. And you know what? Netflix is slowly testing the waters on putting some of their films in theaters. Like that trailer we were talking about for Army of the Dead, it's coming out a week early in theaters and then on Netflix. I think that really is a test to something the platform has been trying to do and something I've always wanted them to do. If hopefully all goes well with Army of the Dead, we could still see Gundam become a theater-released movie and then quickly end up on Netflix the next week. But you guys hear about a live-action Gundam movie in the works. Are you interested in this? Do you think it's a little late for it, or do you think American audiences are not ready for it? Something we know American audiences are definitely ready for and have been overplayed with it is the Predator franchise. Now, if you guys haven't heard, there is a Disney reboot of the Predator franchise, and this is because, well, Disney went ahead and bought 20th Century Studios with Fox, and that gave them the rights to not only the X-Men characters, Fantastic Four, but also Alien and Predator. They're already hard at work with an Alien TV series, and now they're hard at work with Predator 5, 5, or what technically is a Predator reboot. This 5th installment is currently going under the working title of Skulls. It's going to be directed by Dan Trachtenberg, who did also 10 Cloverfield Lane, my personal favorite Cloverfield movie. And well, now we even got a more in-depth plot for this 5th movie. It goes as a Comanche woman who goes against gender norms and traditions to become a warrior many years ago, in a time before any Europeans had ever encroached on their lands. The Comanche people had a well-defined society and gender norms. He is very close to her younger brother Tabe, who is groomed as a leader. As capable as any young man in the tribe, Key has also become a teacher and source of inspiration for Tab. In the Comanche way, she is Patsy, the elder sister that has helped to shape him. Key is a truth teller and has insight that others do not. A tomboy, she wants to prove herself in the masculine world of the Comanche. When danger threatens them all, Key sets out to prove that she is as capable as any young warrior. And that really is a little more detailed, a period piece Predator movie set in Native American times, where a woman tribe member will then try and fight off this predator. I know some people aren't absolutely loving this, but I think it could turn out really cool, and it seems like they're going back to more of a basic root feel with Predator, when that last Predator reboot just did not do it for me and turned the franchise into an action comedy, when, in my personal opinion, the Predator franchise needs to stick to horror with hints of action. The other rumblings going around, which should absolutely make sense to a lot of people out there, especially now that this is technically Disney's version of Predator, is that they're looking to redesign the look for Predator and make it stand out from anything we've seen before. The Predator has had minor changes here and there, but for most cases, I feel like the Predator has had an iconic look that is easily identifiable. I doubt Disney is going to want to change up that look too much and alienate some of the fans, but a bit of a redesign and a change of look could go a long way with trying to differentiate itself from the previous Predator movies. I just hope this goes well and that they maybe set up again a little Alien vs Predator, because that's what I want to see go down. How do you guys feel about the extended plot for Predator 5, and your thoughts on Disney wanting to modify the look of the Predator? Speaking of another reboot that Hollywood is wanting to work on, Deadline went ahead and reported that we just got word that Slumber Party Massacre, an iconic horror movie, is getting the reboot treatment by Syfy as a made-for-TV movie. Not only that, the director of this film is the same person who brought us the horror version of the Banana Splits characters. Before continuing on with this one, I have to say and admit myself, even though I call myself a horror stan and a horror fanboy, I actually never got to see the Slumber Party Massacre franchise. I know there's about 3 movies, but it was just one of the ones I missed. I'm adding it to my list, and I'm definitely going to be checking it out now that Syfy's coming out with their own version. But still, some of these made-for-TV movies that Syfy's wanting to pull out and just throw out there, they rarely turn out good. They're sort of guilty pleasure watches, because like for me, I can say the Banana Splits horror movie was not very good, but I had a guilty fun time watching it. The new Leprechaun movie that they came out with straight for TV on Syfy, not good, but I had fun watching it. I think the same thing is going to be happening here. It might be a lot of fun to watch. You can't really screw up the plot for Slumber Party Massacre. I mean, it basically dealt with a bunch of girls having a slumber party when then an insane asylum freak escapes with a power drill and takes over that sleepover. I think Syfy is trying really hard to find some sort of new made-for-TV franchise that they can just milk over and over, sort of the same way they did with the Sharknado series, where they just had endless sequel after endless sequel. And you know what? I would have seen sequels to the Leprechaun franchise that they restarted, to the Banana Splits movie they restarted, and now this feels like something else they're going to try and restart. I'm willing to check it out and give it a chance, but I don't have that much high hopes for it. You guys out there, if you're fans of Slumber Party Massacre, how do you feel about Syfy wanting to reboot the franchise? And do you think at all it could be any good? Talking about another damn reboot I am extremely excited for, because it's a franchise I'm such a big fan of, and that is my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You guys know that there is a reboot in the works currently with Nickelodeon, and Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg, his team, are the people responsible for The Boys Amazon series, the famous Sausage Party movie, and now they have been handed the kid property of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This is, however, going to be a CGI animated reboot, so it's not live action. Still, nonetheless, it's pretty exciting as a Turtle fan, and the Illuminati, who has gotten a lot of stuff right in the past, and a source that I've used here on on the channel multiple times, they have gotten descriptions for how they're wanting to portray the Turtles in this adaptation. And look, I'm gonna be honest, I think any one of us can come up with a very simple and easy description for each of the members of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But as I'm reading these descriptions for each one of the Turtles, even though they might sound redundant, like, oh, I've seen that before, pay close attention to some of the key words and it'll give us an idea of what this movie will turn out being, and if they're going more kiddie or if they're letting Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg to go a little more mature with it. So starting off, this is how they're going to portray Leonardo in the movie. They have it here as Leonardo, age 13 to 16. The team leader, Leo is strictly business, all killer, no filler, except when he's boasting and describing himself with dumb phrases, like all killer, no filler. He cares about keeping the team on a mission, and he tells himself that his brothers would be lost without him. He's not the strongest, Ralph, or the smartest, Donnie, or the funniest, Mikey, but he's the hardest working turtle boy, and he's proud of it. His brothers can get annoyed by his do-gooder attitude and the lectures that come with it, even when they know he's right. Leo's biggest fear are his brothers realizing that he needs them more than they need him. The obvious leader persona right here that they're going with Leo, but like I said, paying attention to the details, they confirm in this version that Ralph is the strongest turtle. Of course, Donnie being the smartest and Mikey the funniest. They're keeping in line with those traditions of each character trait that the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles have. But I do like that mention that he has the do-gooder attitude, that he has, I guess, this sort of Captain America vibe where he just wants to be the Boy Scout. Ralph, age 13 to 16, goes as the hothead. Ralph likes to break, whether it's his fist or someone else's fist, as he throws them through a glass window. Ralph tends to react emotionally when he's overwhelmed, but he's actually super self-aware and working on it. With his hands in his pockets, cross-armed and sullen face, he can come across as a little brooding, but beneath his impenetrable exterior is a soft, sensitive turtle boy who's just looking for someone to open up to. Ralph, who would hate any authority figure, resents Leo's leadership and thinks he should be in charge. His secret shame? He knows deep down he wouldn't know how to lead the team if it ever came to it. Again, fitting in line with the character descriptions, Ralph being the hothead, the one who always has the anger issues, but the key difference here that we're getting is that he's self-aware of this problem, and it seems like we're going to be getting a Ralph who knows he's a hothead, who knows he's a big shot. And I kind of like that distinction, because Ralph can, to me, sometimes be the annoying turtle who always wants to go on his solo missions, is always fighting and butting heads with his brothers. That the fact that he knows he has that problem and is trying to work on it is a nice character detail that they added here. Michelangelo, age 13 to 16, the goofball, with rare exception, takes nothing seriously. It could come across as aloofness or idiocy, but it actually comes from a place of wisdom and self-confidence, knowing himself. Mikey has his priorities in order, and at the top of his list is enjoying life and living in the present. He loves people and is endlessly curious, which leads to him having long conversations with complete strangers. He's that friend you tell the entire life story within minutes of meeting. He might not be good at martial arts training or waking up on time or even hygiene, but he's an endless well of positivity that his brothers often take for granted. Mikey gets teased the most by his brothers, and even though he always laughs it off, deep down it gets to him. Oh my god. So not only did they make Michelangelo the funny boy, he is gonna have that little sensitive side where he doesn't always like being the clown, but again, more self-awareness. He knows where his strengths lie. He knows he just wants to enjoy life and be the best at it, basically be the youngest member of the Turtles, probably scrolling through memes, playing video games, and also not being the best fighter on the team. Little details like that that do make a distinction from things that we've seen in the past. Of course, leading to Donatello, age 13 to 16, the intellectual, feels like he's Matt Damon in Good Will Hunting. He is made fun of by his brothers for being academic. They acknowledge his smarts are useful but don't appreciate it as much as he feels he deserves. His intelligence has its downsides though. Sometimes his intellectual self-assertiveness can come across as arrogance, and his extreme pragmatism sometimes reads as coldness. It's not that he doesn't care, his brain is just thinking so many steps ahead about such complicated stuff that he often finds himself paralyzed with indecision. He can talk himself into something just as easily as he can talk himself out it. Donnie knows he's smart, but his secret fear he'd never admit out loud is that if he's ever around people at his level, he worries he wouldn't be able to keep up. And if he's not as smart as he thought, what is he? So with Donatello here, it looks like he might be coming off a little bit of a cold shoulder, that smart guy that feels alienated from everybody else because of how smart he actually is, and even having that fear of not being the smartest guy in the room. I feel like that might kind of hint to the villain they'll have in this movie, or else why would they put that in there? If you're bringing someone who's as smart or even smarter than Donatello, that could lend to the villain in here, and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles have a long rogues gallery of great small villains. I do wish we could have gotten a description of what Splinter is going to be like in here, but alas, they only provided descriptions for the 4 main turtles. I like the sounds of this. Again, like I said, it sounds redundant and something like we've heard before. Shouldn't really surprise us. They're keeping in line with the characters. The other thing to note about this is Seth Rogen does say he does plan to focus on the teenage aspect of the Turtles, which I do think is something that they lost in the previous reboot, where it's like, these guys did not feel like teenagers. They felt like super overgrown mutants that, yes, I know is in their title, but there's something to be said about turtles who do still have a weakness, a humanity factor that aren't bulletproof, and I can't wait to see what designs they come up with for the CGI animated movie. You guys hear these descriptions. What stands out to you? Which turtle is your favorite? Go ahead and let me know down below. But that is all movie news we currently have going on right now, guys. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video and talk a little bit of movies with me. Don't be forgetting to comment down below your thoughts on any one of these stories. I'll try to talk back with you, as well as hitting that subscribe button if you're enjoying all the movie content I bring your way. Really appreciate y'all's faces. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at 3C Film Review. But as always, I'm Chris. Take care.